I'm a creative in quarantine. I ain't got
Hello, everybody. What's going on? Welcome to the Je Vaughn Show, where I, for today and today only, get to be Je Vaughn. It is an honor, a pleasure to be with you today. We got some family business to take care of. You know what I'm saying? There's been a lot of stuff going on in social media. You all know what happened.
I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
Today, we're going to talk about and we're going to do an investigation into what happened on Sunday. You know what happened on Sunday. The slap heard across the world. Just walking up to slap people. So what I want to do is I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it deeper than just he should have or he shouldn't have or what would you have done in that situation. I really want to get into the depth of the meat of the matter. Was it appropriate? Was it staged? We still don't really know. And you've got men talking to men respectfully in this conversation. No virtual slaps. We've got women that's going to come in and share their perspective. Do you want a Will or do you want a Chris? And when you say you want a Will, what does that mean? When you say you want a Chris, what does that mean? So right quick, I want to introduce everybody to the producer of producers. This guy right here. There's nobody who I would want running my board on a live virtual show that's being recorded, that's going to be going out to millions and millions of people. So I need you all to give it up right now virtually from my guy, Dean. Dean, come on in and show people your face today. He's black like the Omen.
Man, you're crazy, man.
Man, Dean, this is going to be an amazing show, Dean. We've got...
Facts.
Listen, I need you to understand that there are people that normally don't even come on social media that's going to be doing this show. We got my boy Antoine. We got we got my girl Crystal. We got Chastity. Oh, we got Chastity. We got my boy Elder Steven Anderson, who's got big promotions going on all over the country. Man Calvin, my man Clarence, my girl Erica. We got it all. And I'm doing this show right now from my new palace.
Woo!
Ain't it nice? Ain't it nice? So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get some of these perspectives in right now. I want to go ahead and get people on right now. This is the thing, though. You've got 60 seconds. We got a lot of people that's popping in and popping out. So you've got 60 seconds to tell me what's on your mind about the situation. You've got 60 seconds to explain to me why you feel that way. I know you're grown. You ain't got to explain yourself. But today, just give us some insight as to why you feel the way that you feel. That's what we're going to do. So the first person that I want to bring in is somebody that's near and dear to me because he's family. So I need y'all to give it up for Calvin. Calvin, come on into the virtual studio if you don't mind.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, Calvin? How you feel today?
Blessed.
Beautiful, beautiful. You got some feedback. Looks like the feedback is still there a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and let you take it, man. I need 60 seconds. Tell me about your perspective on the Will and Chris situation.
Okay, first thing, hands off the Will. That was a thorough slap. Full follow through, body shot. You can't top that type of slap.
Yes, sir.
Now, as I feel about it, I don't feel real wrong. Like, I feel like he's right for defending his wife, but wrong by the way he handled the situation. Which
Okay,
mean
give me more.
is, as a man, when I was married, when my wife was still here, I go to war for that woman, bro. It's nothing you can say or disrespect that woman because that's my rib. That's my better half. So if I let you disrespect my better half, then that's showing a weak unit. But at the same time, too, as a man, I know when to approach a situation and when to handle a situation a certain way. Will didn't have to slap him in front of everybody. I'd have waited till I got backstage, pulled him to the side, and then what would have happened would have happened. The whole world doesn't need to see everything two men get into. We're going to talk, we get to throwing hands, wherever. The whole world doesn't need to know it. Only two people that need to know is me, you, and God. And afterwards, once we did what we did, we could have shook hands. Went our separate ways. You ain't gotta like me, I ain't gotta like you, but you will respect me as a man. You will respect my woman.
Thank you, Calvin. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your perspective. Thank you for joining the Je Vaughn Show today. So that's Calvin's perspective. He's saying, you know what? He agreed, but he kind of don't agree. I'm going to be mixing this up a little bit, right? Because I know that the men have a perspective, and I want to hear every single man's perspective. But after hearing Calvin talk about, his wife, rest her soul, if she was here, he would have probably done the same thing. I want to know, as a woman, would you want your man to do the same thing? I need somebody to go ahead and bring in Chastity, my former co-host. It is so great to see you.
I know. It's been so long since we've been on the screen together. I definitely would want a will, but I would want a will because he takes up for his wife. He knew she was disrespected. But however, I'm kind of with Calvin. I wish he would have handled it different. I mean, this was a big opportunity for him, a big night for him. And it was overshadowed by his actions for defending me. And I wouldn't want to be the cause of one of your biggest nights of your career being overshadowed by you doing something of a stand-up guy that I know you are anyway. You didn't have to prove anything to me. I'm with Calvin. You could have handled it behind the scenes. I want you to be able to hold yourself to the best,
But that's a problem that I have because you say, I want a will. I want a will, a man that's going to stand up for me. But a will is somebody that's going to stand up for you and go like full on out. Listen, I'm about to go handle this dude. I don't care who's around. He's about to get got. That's who you want in your life. That's what you're saying.
I want him to know how to handle it like a man. Like, I just think that Will let his emotions get the best of him, which is why he ended up walking up and slapping Chris.
So what you're saying is, so you want somebody that's going to read the moment and react appropriately.
Act appropriately.
So you want a Chris?
No.
Because that's what that is.
Chris was a little weak. But however, like, you can add them both together and get you an amazing man who knows how to stand up for his woman in the right ways. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Chastity, for coming through. I appreciate you. Antoine, you're on the screen right now. How you doing, sir?
I'm blessed, man. How you doing?
I'm favored. I'm blessed. I'm happy to be here right now. Man perspective. Your wife is sitting there with alopecia. A man is on the stage telling a joke. I just want to know your perspective. What does Antoine think?
Well, it's kind of hard considering Will's background and everything he's going through with in the past year with entanglements and everything. So it's kind of hard to say. But me right now, in the space that I'm in, I'm not gonna go up there and slap him on national TV. I would do it backstage. I totally understand where he comes from. I actually had a situation like that in college. And in college, I was wound up, emotional, and ready to go. And thank God my buddies was there to stop me. A brother, I forget his name. It was so long ago. He walked up to my girl, who's my wife right now, and for no apparent reason told her he didn't like her. Said he didn't like her, thought she was ugly and all that. I guess maybe because me and his girl was cool in class. I don't know, but it just took my boys to stop me from putting my hands on that dude. So I understand it. But because of my girlfriend, she didn't want me to touch him, deal with it, so I let it go. But
and see, that's a question that I have right now. Did Jada want Will to go and handle it the Tupac way? That's the question that we got to ask. Antoine, I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate your understanding and your perspective. I appreciate you so much. We gotta keep moving, but thank you, and I hope to bring you in to the Men's Thread podcast real soon. We good?
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Bless you, sir. Bless you, sir. Okay, so now we're going into that female perspective again. I need to hear it from a woman right now before I bring in my guy, Steven Anderson. I need to talk to my girl, Crystal. Crystal. Yes. Hello? How's it going, Crystal?
Going good. I would personally prefer a Chris.
Okay. Tell me why and what that is.
Someone that is composed and knows how to handle themselves in a stressful situation. I think Will was wrong for getting up out of his seat and slapping Chris Rock. I understand that he may have been offended, but that's not how adults handle things when they're offended. They don't get up and slap people. That's not the professional way or the proper way to take care, handle situations. So I would rather have a Chris, someone that can handle himself and can remain poised in a situation that's stressful and embarrassing. That was embarrassing to Chris as well, to, have to endure that slap from Will Smith. So, I mean, he's getting roasted, by his fellow comedians and things for that. But, I think Will overreacted, and I would much rather have a Chris who is well composed. I'm sure. I've watched a lot of Chris Rock's shows, and I'm pretty sure he did not intentionally disrespect Jada. I'm sure he did not know she had alopecia. There are several other Black women that wear bald heads right now. It's nothing specific. She wasn't on CNN. They didn't do anything, it hasn't been a big write-up about it. So I think he had the best intentions, and I think he handled himself well considering the situation he was in.
Crystal, I look forward to another podcast with you as well. Thank you for coming on and sharing your perspective.
Alrighty. Okay.
Have a great night. Okay, so I need a man's perspective now. So Sean said Chris wasn't weak, WTF. That's a really strong perspective that I've seen from a lot of people, but you would be surprised that there is still that same number of people that's saying that he's a punk, that he should have went and responded in the moment. So that's why I'm trying to figure out, Sean, why do you have that perspective? Why do you feel that he was strong and he wasn't weak? And then for those who feel that Chris was weak, why do you have that perspective as well? Let me go ahead and bring in Elder Stephen Anderson.
I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'm coming in hot. Yeah, coming in hot. Just coming in. Black on black. You don't have to ball a rap to get them racks on racks. Uber poolers trying to catch my vibe and find my way. Yeah, I know I'm coming in hot. Shoot that shot. Hey, why not? Hey,
why not? Elder, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, listen, I'm blessed and flavored with all 31 flavors of the Holy Ghost. I need to figure out what is the elder's perspective. Mr. Praise and Worship Leader over at Dallas OCC. How does the elder feel in this situation?
I'm conflicted, but I do understand that. I say this. I once was Will, and now I'm a Chris.
Tell me what that means.
I remember at a time I didn't have control of my emotions, and you know as well as I know, I would snatch up her mama if I had to for my wife. So y'all know I didn't pull no punches about my wife. However, I believe Chris was more of a gentleman for handling it because you don't have to respond. I think he was very strong because strength is not so much showing everybody how big and bad you are. Strength is showing restraint. You can do what you want, but it's about making the power move and having enough wisdom not to do what you want.
Wow, that's deep. Before you go, I want to get a perspective of another man while you're still on here as well. Ladies and gentlemen, my co-host for the evening, who is running on Apostle time. Let's bring in the hip hop apostle himself, BBJ. BBJ, how you doing, sir?
Oh man, too blessed to be stressed. High on Christ, don't need coke, crack, or cess. What's up, baby? What's going on?
Everything is fantastic. Everything is fantastic. So the elder said that wisdom is being strong. You know what? Elder said it better. Elder, you say what you said because I'm not gonna say it the way you said it.
Before we go any further, I just fanned out. I'm back. You already know I'm a BBJ fan. I just fanned out. I'm back. Okay.
Man, bless you, man. Bless you.
Okay. So I was saying, BBJ. Moving on. Anyway,
yeah. I said, you know what? But BBJ, he responded the same way the first day he met me too. So don't even worry about it. Moving on.
All right.
Moving on. Elder Stephen, what were you saying?
Offline. No, I said I think Chris showed his strength because wisdom and strength says I can do what I want. But I chose to take the higher road. I chose to show restraint. So that's real strength right there. You can do what you want, but you chose not to act out. You chose to be a responsible person in this case. So I think Chris was very, very strong for what he did.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that perspective, Elder. Elder, thank you so much, man. I look forward to hosting another episode of the Je Vaughn Show with you real soon in the future. And maybe we'll have the hip hop apostle come on and be our guest that day. What do you think?
I got time.
Excellent.
What an honor. What an honor.
Man.
Yeah. Bless you too, man.
So we've got Erica that's going to be coming on soon. We've got Xavier in the background, but I want to go ahead and just talk about the situation for just a quick second now that my co-host is here. So let me tell you what happened on Sunday night. I was laying down comfortably, dozing off because the Oscar telecast was boring as hell. And so I'm just laying there and I'm dozing, and then I see like my TV looked like it was glitching. So I kind of set up and I'm like, what's going on with my TV? Why is Will screaming at Chris? So I do what everybody does when they're trying to figure out what's going on in the world. I went to Twitter. Everybody's like, what's happening? What's happening? What happened? And then the Australian version came through. The uncensored Australian.
That's a new word. You can do that, Jay. You can do that.
My lips will not let me say the word right. So
it's all right.
So I see the version and I immediately go, wow, they really pulled that off. They acting their butts off right now. Absolutely. And then I had to keep thinking about it like it just still doesn't feel like acting. And so that's when I noticed it. Were you watching the telecast or did you hear about it through third party?
Third party, I wasn't watching that at all, but then my phone was going crazy. I was getting all these texts and messages. So I said, let me find out what's happening. So when I looked on, on social media, I started seeing what people were saying. I was like, wow, okay. And then I saw the footage, later, and I said, you know what, this has to be staged. It's just too good to be true. But then later on, as I looked into it a little deeper, I come to realize that it was more to it than just what we saw.
Man, so what was your initial perspective on the thing?
I was really, like everyone else, like shocked, like, wow, really, being that I thought it was staged, it was like, okay, whatever. This is Hollywood. This is what people do. They do gimmicks. They get, they do whatever it takes to get the ratings up, And so when I saw it, that's what I first felt. But then, like I said, as I started looking into it and doing a little investigation and talking to some reliable sources, I said, wow, I felt like really this was something that was a big hit for us as a nation. I got to look at it from the perspective of how I see things as a nation. We got to look. It's been 90 something years since any brother got in, a brother or anybody of any majestic melanated person got an award or something. You know what I mean? And so what happens? This is a big night for Questlove. It's a big night for Samuel Jackson. Samuel. This is a big night for Will too. So for us to wait so long to get something like this, it's a classy night, it's the big night of Hollywood. And for something like that to kick off, that wasn't a good look at all. I wasn't good looking. I was listening in on the different questions where you were saying, as far as, giving people a choice, would you choose Will or would you choose, Chris? The reality of it all is that, what I saw was a display of lack of self-control. Now, a lot of people saying, well, he lost it. How much can a brother take this and that? But you got to look at the backstory. Now, I'm just going to give you a scenario. I'm not throwing nobody under the bus. But if, Shiny J, the one for BBJ, right? Now, let me talk about me. If my wife was a stripper on the weekend, and she, and they called her, saying Candy Shimmer, and we went out to the grocery store. You know what I mean? And when you go to these places, you got the regulars. It's almost like Cheers. Everybody knows your name. So if you're a stripper, you got regular people there at the strip club, right? So you create a relationship. So if we were at the grocery store with the family, everything, and then somebody sees her, my wife, and say, "Hey, Candy Shimmer." Hey, what's happening? She can't act like she don't know them. You know what I mean? So the thing is that what I'm saying is, you are what you are. And when you put yourself out there like that, and if you're a big star in Hollywood, people gonna be all up in your business, and it is what it is. You can't go beating up everybody or try to beat up everybody, and that's another issue. They say pick and choose your fights. Now, if it was somebody else, would he smack them? Now, I know he's from Philly. Shout out to all my people in Philly. Takes Flow. Philly is about that life. But let me tell you something. The question is Will about that life? That's the question. Because according to your career and all that you've have done, I haven't seen you being about that life. You've been a clean cookie cutter guy. That's like one of these cookie cutter Sunday school rappers, stepping to somebody on the street for real. It's like, come on, man. You ain't about that life. You know what I'm saying? You do what you do, but you're not really about that life. And there's a lot of people like that who really not about that life. Now, I'm going to talk about me. Now, this is the apostle. I'm for real. Brooklyn born, Jersey bred. Shout out to Chilltown. Let me tell you something. Nobody's going to touch me on live or unlive. And if you do touch me, it's an old saying in the hood. You got to bring it to get it. You know what I'm saying? You got to open it up. You got to bring it. And trust and believe. These hands are secured on high, for real. They you know what I'm saying? They authorize, you know what I mean? I lay hands on people, and I have to touch some people too. So, you know what I mean? I'm not one of the preachers who, got the big belly, oh, bless you. No, we good, we good with these hands. But no, all serious note, on a serious note, I do protect my wife, I protect my daughters, and I protect all of my spiritual daughters, even my sons. But the thing is that you got to position yourself so that you get the respect that you think you really want. You know what I'm saying? You can't put yourself out there and be a wild boy, wild girl, and then when you're dealing with something, you want to have privacy. It don't work that way. Same thing in ministry and everything business. When you out there, you're out there.
But I think it also comes down to the fact, though. I mean, your wife is probably a special woman to you, right? I mean, you know her inside and out, so you know what she's expecting of you in your response in that situation. The question is, what does Erica expect from her man when he's put in that situation? So that's why I'm going to bring Erica in right now.
Come on, Erica.
Come on into the virtual studio. That's another amazing podcast host. Erica, the question is this. Do you want a Will? Do you want a Chris? And you can't answer it without telling us, in your opinion, what is a Will and what is a Chris? Take it away, Erica.
I respect Chris and his reaction to the situation. And I see Will as a man who is emotionally unstable. He was out of control in that moment. He was at his wit's end. He was operating out of emotion. And I didn't respect the way that he handled the situation. I don't see it as him protecting his wife. I see it as him having a temper tantrum or a break in judgment. I love the way that Chris handled the situation. He didn't escalate the situation. He stayed calm. And I really lost respect for the way that a lot of the people there handled the situation, how they ran to Will and they coddled him and they tried to make sure he was okay. And I didn't see any of those people go and check on Chris. He was the person who got hit. He was the person who had to endure an embarrassing moment on live TV, and then Will gets to go away as the hero. And I didn't appreciate that. And then my other perspective is I see a lot of people saying that he was protecting his wife. I didn't see it that way. I saw him making the situation worse. And then I don't believe you can protect your wife when she's not in turn also protecting you. You're her physical covering. She should be your mental and emotional covering, but she's been uncovering him for years and exposing him to public ridicule. So now you're coming to her defense and you're going to be her protector. It goes both ways. So I didn't see him protecting his wife. I saw him just reacting to a moment where a lot of buildup, because I saw people bringing up the book that he wrote when he talked about he witnessed his mother getting physically abused by his father, and he felt like a coward for his whole life because he wasn't able to protect his mom. So I just saw a little boy acting out in a moment of trying to redeem himself.
Great points, Crystal. You hit it right on the head. You know what? It's amazing. You can get older, and people get this twisted. People get older, but they never mature.
Yes.
See, people miss that. And because people have wealth and money and fame and prestige, people are, they're seen on an echelon or a different frequency than everyone else. But the reality of it all is, if you had Jerry Seinfeld up there, or if you had even Shucks, I'm gonna even call out my boy, saying if you had Steve Harvey, and he's from Cleveland, he's from out here.
Yeah.
You're not gonna run up on him, said, and none of them. It's not gonna happen. I think because Chris, Chris is cool, laid back. Chris is from the hood, but Chris is a gentleman. He's a professional, and he's not going to engage and go there with you. So that's an easy pick. Not saying that Chris is a punk at all, but there's some people in life who people make decisions to go at certain people because they kind of know the response and they know how they can walk away as the hero. But you roll up on the wrong person. I mean, you roll up on that dog. You be that little dog rolling up on that big dog behind the gate and don't realize the gate is really open. You got a problem. So we love Will. We love Chris. I agree with you, Crystal. Chris handled that like a gentleman and like a true G, a true professional. And that was a good look on us. Now, let me say this. Side note, the whole world is watching. There's an underlining understanding that our people, I'm talking about the majestic melanated people of this world, that we are out of control. We're always killing each other. We're robbing each other. We can't trust each other. So now you're on a global platform. Everybody's watching it. And you're amongst other nations where it's like somebody's like, I tell you, can't take them nowhere. Look at them. You can't say I'm in the hood. It's hard. I got to eat cereal with water. You don't know what I've been through. No, you're filthy rich physically. But let me say this, and this is not a knock at him, but I got to speak to the soul. This is what it is. You're physically rich, but you're spiritually poor. That's the bottom line. Because you should have exemplifying the fruits of the spirit. You should have that, even as a believer, even as a person who is just a professional. You don't have to be religious, be just real, but be a gentleman. And as far as protecting your wife, if you really the man, watch this. I don't have to beat my chest and say, I'm the man, I'm the king, I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. My wife knows I'm the man, but she also knows she's the woman. She's the man with the womb, and she don't stand behind me. She stands beside me. She's also my neck, and she supports me as the head. And I don't have to prove nothing to her because I've already proven all of these years, over 2 decades, that I love her, I protect her and all that. But I also make decisions where I'm not going to put myself in positions where I'm out there like that and I have a breaking point and have a mental breakdown on national television.
And that's the point that I think people haven't really caught on to real deep. I think that there has to have been a mental disconnection for Will in that moment.
Absolutely.
Which is the reason why he did it. But again, I don't know the man's mentality. I don't know everything he went through, but I do know that we got people on this line that want to bring in more conversation.
Yeah,
Erica, I appreciate you so much for coming in and sharing your perspective. We're about to go to Clarence J. Then we're going to go to Xavier, and then we're going to go to Dr. Kenneth. But my God, Clarence J. Jedi, come on into the studio, sir.
Come on, Clarence.
Come on up in here.
Clarence in the building.
BBJ, like this is crazy though too, man. Blessings to all of you though, man. Hey,
shalom.
Javon, we've been doing this for a minute though, man.
To see Javon too. That's all I'm saying. Everybody wants to give BBJ some love.
Hey, well, hold on. Let me just jump in. Hold up, Javon. The thing is that many people think BBJ is a myth. I was online years ago. Somebody said, "Yeah, I heard that guy died." people was chatting. They was like, "I heard he died." So there's in a mentality they don't understand that I'm still daddy. I'm still relevant. I'm still here. But a lot of people don't understand that But you know, it's okay. I take it as love. I appreciate it, man, and I love you, brother, and that's real. Yep, I'm glad you're here.
You got to come out the man cave a couple times then, so everybody know. Oh no, BBJ is actually he's real. He's still alive.
And what's hot is the fact that Clarence J is doing relevant new music right now. So now we got BBJ on, so we can do a feature featuring BBJ on the next Jedi album. But that's not what we're here for.
Wow.
We're not here for business.
That would be phenomenal.
We're here to talk about what happened. So Clarence, tell me, Mr. Jedi, when you were sitting there watching it, what was your perspective, sir? Give me some knowledge.
I was like a lot of people. I thought it was staged until I saw it, and when Chris was so locked and he was in disarray when he was trying to move to the next portion of the segment, I was like, oh no, that's real. So initially I was like, how bad was the joke? You know, I was like, G.I. Jane, I'm like, she got a haircut. I didn't think it was so much of a dig that it would have vaulted that kind of response. So that's for me. I agree with Erica. That I don't think that was the true response that could have been warranted. I would have probably been like, hey, bro, Chris, hey, don't say that, bro. Don't say it. Hey, call that back or whatever. But I wouldn't have been able to actually get up after kind of laughing at the joke and seeing my wife like, oh, I wouldn't have been able to do that. It's like, oh, you know, hey, bro, don't do that, Chris. We cool. My thing also, I was thinking, I was like, well, everybody knows Chris is Chris. So he's gonna crack jokes and everything. That's just him. You in the front row. Everybody knows it don't matter where you at. If you're in the front row and there's a comedian in front of you, you probably gonna get hit a little bit with something. But I don't think that it warranted for him to actually have to get up and actually slap him. So I don't think he not at the point where he got to fight every night to prove his love. He may feel like it though.
Yeah.
And so what BBJ said as well though too is just that I think between BBJ and Erica, y'all made some really, really valid points that you want to make sure you're watching your mental health. You still want to make sure you're protecting those too, but there's a way that you can do so without making sure that, for one, the platform is not tainted, that you as individuals are not tainted. And then also, who knows what could have happened? Because Chris is from New York.
Yep.
Will is from Philly. Okay.
Yep.
Who knows who would have been behind them doors, from the Bronx or from PK? Like, oh, for real, Will? That's what we doing? So
for real.
That's the thing. I think that at the platform that it was, we could have handled it a lot better. Hopefully, this is something that, and I'm glad you brought this together too, Javon, because this is something I think that we all need to make sure we do. We have to use the examples that are around us for us to be better as men, as believers, and as a society of Black people.
That's right. That's right.
I appreciate you. Clarence J, thank you so much for jumping in. Thank you for giving your perspective. Let's get that album out, baby. Redemption 2.0, 2.9, 2.04. Let's go.
Let's stay
Ladies
connected.
and gentlemen, we are still taking in people. We got a couple of more minutes left. So if you want to get into this conversation, it's right there. Click in, join the conversation. Let's get you in. Let's figure out what's going on. Now, we need a young man's perspective because we've been, us old heads like, listen, my knees are bad. I'm not about to walk all the way up that stage.
You speaking for yourself there. I'm not old. I'm soul. I'm soul.
Well, I'm gonna speak for me then. My back.
Okay, speak for you.
Sometimes, and had he come up and hit me, I mean, I would have got to him eventually, but it would have been a slow walk. But that's our seasoned vets. I need to get this perspective from this young face dude, this 12-year-old that's on our screen right now, Mr. Xavier. Let me know the young people's perspective, the generation, why are you here perspective. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was I actually didn't even watch the Oscars, as many people of my age don't. My phone was going crazy. I'm like, all right, let's go look on Instagram. Let's see what's going on. And this is like, Instagram and Twitter is like the newspaper to people my age. So that's like the front page. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? So I watched the video a couple of times. And honestly, I just really didn't understand why Will got up and did that. He was laughing at the joke before he even decided to get up.
Exactly.
And for someone who works in that industry, And for them who are in that industry and work in front of the camera, take that backstage. You know, Chris is going to tell his joke. He's going to be up there for about 5-10 minutes, and then he's going to go to the back. So, you know, you don't even need to do that. You didn't only embarrass Chris, but you embarrassed yourself. And at the end of the day, we all know what your wife did. So, you know,
straight up,
it just
And
looks
he
bad
didn't run up-
altogether.
He did not run up on August like that. Now, my question to you, Xavier, is, you know, I'm not going to say you out there with your girl, but let's say you out there with your moms, right? And some dude walks by, and whatever the way it is, you feel that this person has disrespected your wife, your girlfriend of 10 years, your sister who you love, not the one that you just think is cool sometimes. What is your response as a young person? In your mind, how are you reacting? How do you feel? How do you feel you would react?
Yeah, so I mean, there's to a certain extent, it is okay for you to defend somebody else. If someone is physically threatening you, that's when it is okay for you as a man or as a third party to defend the person you love. Unfortunately, words are not covered under that kind of guideline. So, you know, you kind of just gotta certain things you have to shake off, certain things you have to know how to win and pick and choose your battles, you know, pray for them and keep moving forward. But, you know, you get mad, you know, maybe you'll say something off at the mouth. I feel like everything could have been solved if Will wanted to sit there and say, keep my wife's name out your mouth. And then if you want to have more to talk about it, take that to the back. But as a young adult, if it would happen to me, you know, just use your words. And, you know, if that's not getting you anywhere, it's obvious that person is ignorant. Move on, you know, pray about it, and you got to turn the other cheek.
I appreciate your perspective, Xavier. Thanks for coming
Awesome.
on. My problem is that he both hit him and yelled at him.
Yeah.
You can't do both.
Yeah. You tried to gun and son him. It don't work like that. You try to gun and son him. Listen. When a man raises his voice, first of all, that means there's a problem right there. I don't raise my voice. I mean, I've coached ball and stuff like that. I don't raise my voice unless I'm getting paid a lot of money. I don't do that. I don't raise my voice. Now, the only time I raise my voice and I'm loud, I'm worshiping, I'm crying out to God, I'm yelling, give my praise, I'm worshiping, I'm preaching the gospel on the corner of the bullhorn. Yeah, and I get hype. But just a man, you got to get excited. And then people say, well, they're friends, they're buddies. Listen, if you're a friend of mine, we need to have a relationship. And the core of every relationship is communication. If you cannot communicate with me, you can't rock with me. And you're definitely not going to be yelling at me. No, that's not happening.
Like I'm Willow. He yelled at Chris like he was Willow.
Yeah, in front of all those people. Yeah, and knew what he was doing. It wasn't like, it's yet to be told if he was on any medication, anything like that, because maybe that could be, maybe he's on medication. I don't know. We love Will. Let's make that clear. We love Will. We love Chris. We're not throwing him under the bus. We're having a real conversation. And the bottom line is that there is a serious problem. Now, let me tell you something that's happening because of that. When you as a man, and you're in not just a public figure, but as a father, as a husband, you have children, and your children are of age, and they seeing what you're doing, and they say, oh, that's how we doing it. Yeah, that's, my pops is about that life. Now you want to emulate that, and you're going to get yourself some serious trouble because you're not about that life. You know what I'm saying? You're about fashion, you're about music and that, but you're not about these hands. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know nothing about struggle. You don't know nothing about the hood. You don't know nothing about that. You've been sheltered. You've been sheltered in the time of storm. You've been sheltered. You don't know nothing about the grit and the grind and the gutter and the gully. Yeah. So that's the problem, because you got a lot of young people now feel like, yeah, Big Willie smacked him. Yeah, I do. But it's like Big Willie is not even Big Willie right there. You know what I'm saying? He took the low road and he snapped, which anybody can do, which is serious because that's mental health. When you snap like that, people say he took all he could take. Well, what about the person, who took all they could take and went and got a gun and shot somebody, or took all they could take and got a brick and bashed somebody upside their head? Where are they at today? There's no win with the violence, but there come a time where you have to protect your own. But I don't think that was the situation or the scenario. I don't think that was it. It was out of order.
And that's totally what my problem is, because I'm not going to say it was premeditated, but the man had enough time to to laugh at the joke first,
Yeah.
and then to recover, stand up, walk up the stairs to the man, and he didn't just go, boop. He reached back.
Yeah.
And called on and tried to get the force of 1,000 winds to bring it back up. I'm not gonna go with medication. I'm not gonna go with mental breakdown. He could have mentally broke down at the first 4 jokes that they threw at him that
Straight
night.
up.
But he didn't attack the woman because he thought about it. He didn't attack Wanda Sykes. He thought about it. He wouldn't have attacked Jim Carrey. He wouldn't have attacked Questlove if he said it in his acceptance speech. He wouldn't have
definitely not
attacked Kevin Hart.
Oh,
and even Kevin Hart small. He would not have attacked Dave Chappelle.
Not at all. Not at all. But watch this. Something you made a very valuable point, Javon. Watch this. You said after he laughed, but then he looked over and seen his wife roll her eyes, and then he acted. That's a problem because all real men, let me tell you something. And you talking about you love your wife, your woman, you have to be proactive, not reactive.
Real quick, 'cause I need to be proactive instead of reactive because I don't want Dr. Kenneth to leave. I need.
Oh, no
Dr.
doubt.
Kenneth
Come on,
to
bring
to
a doc.
virtual
Bring the
studio.
doc in.
Dr.
Bring the
Kenneth,
doc in.
welcome to the studio, sir.
Salute.
Thank you.
Salute.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Before you start, I didn't want to cut BBJ off, but I did not want to miss my opportunity to hear from you. So I'm going BBJ to finish his thought, and then I'm going to bring in. And
listen,
I want you to stay up here with me.
Look, I'm gonna yield the floor, but I'm gonna yield the floor. Let the doc speak. Let the doc speak. He's in the building. Come on, doc.
Listen. I want to say first of all, thank you for having me. But I was getting ready to catch on to the same thing that BBJ was saying. Here's the thing: what happened was there should be no reason that you're reacting from what your wife did. I've come from the streets of New Jersey. I now live in the Carolinas. I'm an ex-boxer, hood, all that, to now professionalism. So we have to remember when we gain positions of professionalism and authority, we have to change. It takes deeper reactions to bring that inner man from us when we change the level to where we are. Exactly. And with that being said by everybody that talked on here, it wasn't a level that you physically touched me. He actually laughed, then he looked. Yep. So what happened to me, that became a weakness of him as a man.
See,
I'm just saying, I'm just beating it up because
it's a trigger.
I'm not gonna. If you disrespect my lady, my wife, or whatever it is to me, I don't need to look at her to protect her. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. Now the first part of that, we got to understand, where did we lose our insecurity as being the head of that house? Because first of all, most men shouldn't be intimidated by another man if they know what they have. You got to allow that woman to react as the first line of defense. She did. She looked at it, but then she looked and said her man going along with everybody else. So then he just reacted.
But we don't even know because the camera was gone, and I've heard a lot of people say that, Dr. Kenneth, to where they say, well, he must have reacted to what Jada said. First of all, we don't know if Jada was annoyed. We don't know if Jada had gas at that moment. We don't know if she was even hearing the joke. We know that Jada made a face, but Jada's not saying what her facial reaction was in response to. Was it in response to Chris telling another joke after telling 4 jokes during the Oscar, what was that, 3 years ago, talking about, how you gonna boycott something that you wasn't invited to? I'm boycotting Rihanna's panties, but you weren't invited there. So how can you boycott something you weren't invited to? So was she responding to, wow, here he go again. Was she responding to, wait a minute, I like G.I. Jane. She was a strong woman. She went in there. She worked hard to gain their respect. Or was she going, that was a terrible movie, or that was a terrible joke. I'm sure he can do better than that. We don't know what she was saying, what she was thinking. So then for Will to respond, if his response was based on that, like you gentlemen just said, that's out of pocket. That's out of order. That's crazy. That's
and another thing too. Let me add this real quick. We're talking as if this is a regular couple. That's another thing. We're speaking as this is the norm husband and wife, like they just love each other and they morally listen, there's so much going on within this couple, and I'm not judging them, I'm just speaking the truth, that we don't understand the details of their mentality or their reality. You know what I'm saying? They got some stuff going on that the public, we don't know about. And watch this, it's none of our business, but it becomes our business when there's a public outburst like this. That's just ridiculous. And then people take sides. It's not about taking sides. What's right is what's right. And the thing is that you don't have to go there, and you shouldn't have done that. And once again, I might I remind everybody that this was 90-something years since any majestic melanated individual won anything. This is a big night for a lot of melanated people on this platform. It means a lot. And for it to be, everybody's talking about this. Nobody's even talking about Samuel. Nobody's talking about Questlove. They mentioned them, but they were supposed to be celebrated for their work. And that's sad that they have to be pushed to the side because of this foolishness that makes no sense. And I'm gonna tell you something. I just thought about something. He smacked Chris Rock, but I promise you, if I was a betting man, I bet everything I own and everything I could touch that he wouldn't smack Tony Rock. You heard me?
Yeah.
He wouldn't smack Tony Rock.
That's a solid point.
Huh? BBJ, Je Vaughn, you telling that. So let me bring something to matter that real had. So I work in a professional environment. Let's talk about racial here for a second.
Okay.
Why I'm saying that is, we are as black men, and him as a high profile black man in professionalism, he lost a lot of respect as a role model. And I'm going to tell you why. I was around the last couple of days, even yesterday, a lot of white people or Caucasians, whichever one you want to call them, they're talking about this now more than saying the words came out of one of their mouth. Well, I guess when they get money, they don't lose their character where they come from. Ha!
That's the real deal.
I heard one of them come out of their mouth, and then they started talking these things. We're not talking about it. Well, his ratings, they might go down. They might not go all the way down, but some say, I'm not going to buy his stuff because what if that was my daughter? Or what is that? I respected him. He lost it. You can't give him. And they go back to now comparing to every black man that has failed. They started talking about sports people. Look at Mike Tyson. Look at this. That's where their mind going, because you have to understand, they expect us to fall once we rise up.
Yep. It's just a matter of time. It's just like they're just waiting, twiddling their thumbs like, oh, it's a matter of time. It got to happen. Oh, you've been doing this too. You've been doing too good. You've been a good boy too long. Something got to go. Something got to give. And people don't realize that. People say, oh, no, Will gives a lot to the community. See, this is a problem too. We look at what people do and their action, but we don't look at their character. There's a lot of people who write a check and give away. We're going to build wells in Soweto. We're going to build wells in Africa. But there's people right across the street in their neighborhood and ministries, and they're poor. They don't have what they need. But everybody's rallying money, sending to Israel, here and there, and speaking the truth. They don't even want you there. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
These places, they don't even want to welcome you. And that's another whole situation. But because we don't know who we are, which is another whole conversation, we end up doing things, and we have a mentality that like, well, if these people like me, if they love me. So I don't really care if these people like me or not. It doesn't matter as long as they love me. But they really don't love you. They just tolerate you. You know what I'm saying? And just because you could afford to live around certain people and, and do certain things and travel where you want to go and do what you want to do, there's still a foundation that has to be laid as far as your character and who you really are and whose you are. And at the end of the day, all you have is your family. Even with interviews, people are public successes. Watch this, but they're private failures. Been teaching that for years. People come home and their dog, their cat go and hide. Children go in the room. Everybody go different ways as soon as they come home. But in the public, they're mighty this and mighty that and intelligent that. They got all this paper on the wall, but no power activated in their life. It's another whole conversation. We have to stop praising people for what they can perform and what they can do, and start looking at people for who they really are and realizing that maybe they need some help.
Dr. Kenneth, real quick, the next time I hear about we embarrassed ourselves or they embarrassed themselves in front of the peoples, can we just for every time I hear that, I go back to January 6th. There wasn't.
Yes.
Where were we? Were we in there?
We weren't in there.
Oh,
No.
okay. So if we're gonna talk about public humiliation, why aren't they covering? Why aren't they carrying that covering of public humiliation everywhere that they go? It can't be that every single time we do something, now we've embarrassed the whole culture, but every time another culture does something, oh, they're just passionate.
Because when you write the book, you write the scenario, you write the plot, you write the history, and with that same book, you erase history and you paint stuff. You got paintbrushes, so it's you create the reality that people think is really real when it's really the Matrix. And at the end of the day, when Humpty Dumpty falls off the wall, all Humpty Dumpty have is his community, his real people. That's it. Ain't nobody. The King's horses. Yeah, they said they tried to put them together, but they didn't. You know what I'm saying? The thing is that all you have is mom and them, your brother, your sister. And that. So we got to stop tearing each other down and looking down at each other just because, you know, we may get up or move or whatever, because the reality of it all is at the end of the day, you take away all the money, prestige of anybody. I don't care who they are. I don't care how expensive their clothes is, red bottoms, big tulip hats, whatever people got. You take that away when they're buried right next to the pizza delivery man, right next to the mailman, right next to everybody else who go to work every day. The UPS, everybody, Amazon, everybody. That millionaire, yeah, they might get a little mausoleum and put, that's that. But when they go in that ground, I don't care how elaborate that place is, those same worms that's down yonder somewhere that's eating up somebody else from the hood or whatever, they work their way up there and they had themselves some human steak. You best believe you're not as important as you think you are. And I'm gonna tell you something. He was 9 to 25. This for everybody. It is appointed on the men once to die. After that, the judgment. So please believe it. It's gonna happen. And can't nobody email, Twitter, or two-way or nothing. Nobody when you leave here. So you might as well get it right while you're here and make your arrangements for that fancy restaurant after the party is over.
Get it right now. Before we let you go, Dr. Smith. How's your daughter doing? When are we getting new music?
My daughter is Stella Award winner Kendra Smith, and she's won a Stella back in 2015, nominated for a Dove in 16, and she's now, it was 19 years old then. She's 25 now, so we're getting ready to set off. And I just want to say one of my artists that's on my label now is sitting at number 27 on the Billboard. So it's a lot of new stuff coming down the line, Je Vaughn, and we're looking forward. So let me know when you're there.
And do any of them need BBJ remixes? Again, I'm just trying to get people paid. I'm trying to get people together, collaborations. Dr. Kenneth, we're going to let you go. Bless you, sir. Thank you so much for coming through. I need everybody to understand that Dr. Kenneth is kind of a big deal. So y'all make sure y'all go and follow him. Before we get out of here, quick rapid fire. I'm going to ask some questions. You give me 30 seconds, your opinion. Just when you hear the words in regards to this situation, I'm going to say the words in regards to this situation. 30 seconds. So what do you think? Accountability and loyalty.
Great lack of and great demonstration of.
Toxic masculinity.
The result of inaccountability. And what's the second thing?
Loyalty.
Loyalty. False.
Mental health.
Desperately a reality.
Stereotypes.
Misunderstood and miscalculated.
Last word. Comedy.
The world. I often say the world is a circus, so I'm never moved when I come across a few clowns. That's my line. I say it all the time. The world is a circus, so I'm never moved when I come across a few clowns. And you know, the reality of it all is that once again, you know, self-control is very important. You know, even in the streets, a lot of brothers are dead, a lot of sisters are dead because they reacted to what someone said or how someone felt or embarrassed. That's not good. And it's not good for us because the reality of it all is that we're living in a false reality. We're not really loved like we think we're loved. And if we knew who we really was, if we knew our people and how important it is that we know who we are, we'd understand why everything is the way it is from the hood to Hollywood. and we would have a different perspective if we understood who he was. I just want to say this, and I'm going to digress, 'cause you know I'm a preacher. Deuteronomy 28. I want everybody to read that. There's 68 verses. The first verse to the 16th verse, all the preachers love it. But if you read 16 down to the 68th, you'll realize, you know, that you've been missing out on a real serious Black history lesson. That's what I'm going to say.
Before we cut up out of here, I've got one more request. He just joined the studio. He's going to say, I'm not coming on. He's going to say, I just came here to support. He's going to say, listen, I've already said my piece and I got this high status and I can't let everybody know what I'm doing and what I'm thinking at all times. But I need this man to come into the studio right now. He is the producer, executive producer of this here show right here.
Here he is.
He is the man. He is the myth. He just tried to take himself out, but we're going to bring him on back in.
Let's introduce him right. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, put your hands together for the one and only Mr. T.L. Holmes.
See.
Right here on the Je Vaughn Show, the Je Vaughn Martin Show.
TL doesn't think that I will put him out there, but y'all got to see a little blink of him. TL has been he's been awesome. And he's been amazing. He's an accomplished producer. So we thank him for executive producing this show. I also got to give much love to Jennifer Parker, who is another producer. She's the on-site producer who came through and really helped us get this thing together. Dean Reynolds, an amazing producer. So we thank him for coming through. Each and every guest that came through, each and every person that gave their contribution, and most of all of you guys for watching. Thank you guys so much for
You forgot somebody, Je Vaughn.
Who'd I forget?
Take a bow. We thank you, Je Vaughn, for doing such an awesome job. That's right. You for doing such an awesome job with the Je Vaughn Martin Show. You've been consistent. You've been awesome. You reached a lot of people, and you're giving a lot of people an opportunity to be seen, to be heard, and a platform for them to build their dream. So I want to thank you too. You know, we have to give honor to whom honor is due while we can, because tomorrow is not promised. You heard me?
I definitely appreciate that. I appreciate you for being a consummate professional and for coming in here and taking care of the business. Oh, and I got two more producers to shout out. Dee, thank you so much. Paula and Kuma, you have no idea how much she supports this show and everything that she does to make sure that everything is perfect and goes right. So thank you to her as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning in to the Je Vaughn Show. We're on Roku. We are on every platform, the iTunes. So make sure you all go check out the podcast version and hear it all over again, and then share it with people so that they know what's going on. Until next time, make sure you all take care of yourselves and each other. Dean, go ahead and play that outro just one more time.
Woo. Get a little bit crazy. Let's get